The Justin Robert Young Daily Program, brought to you as always by everybody who supports us at PayJuryDaily.com. You want to know what? It's about that time. We are probably going to add some new levels here in a second, but I want to ask you, the listener or the viewer, this question. Do you enjoy this program? I know that it has been growing. We have watched the subscribers to this steadily climb. It is now the most downloaded show that I do. Hopefully, I have earned a spot, a regular rotation in your weekly schedule. I hope that's the case because I'm very, very, very excited to be a part of your life. If you want to make sure that you keep this going, well, you can go on over to PayJuryDaily.com. Toss me $1. Toss me a couple dollars. You toss me enough dollars, I'm going to read your name at the end of every single show. Well, not every single show, alternating. You're going to get your name on the show. That's really the thing that matters. PayJuryDaily.com. But enough of talking about how we support the show. Oh, what do you say we just do the damn thing? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the program. My name is Justin Robert Young. It is Mailbag Thursday, High Thoughts Thursday. Had a great time last night going through. A friend of mine going through some stuff, and got to be there for a friend. I'd just like to say this. There are a lot of times that, you might see somebody that in pain, and oftentimes we just kind of, we deal with that the way that we can. I think the most empathetic among us really try to go out and comfort, but a lot of times, you're dealing with your own shit. You can't really carve out a little bit of time. Here's what I would ask everybody listening. Do a little radical empathy. Just go to somebody that you like, pay them a compliment. How about that? Either Thursday night when you're listening, if you're listening live, or Friday when a lot of people listen to the podcast, why don't you just go ahead and compliment? Send somebody into the weekend just delighted, having a good time. Want to know why? Because they had somebody recognize them for doing something cool. Doesn't have to be in person. Could be in a text message. Could be, on the internet. There's a million ways to do it. Oh, everybody's complimenting me. Oh no, so many compliments for me. Now I just turned what I thought was a very altruistic act into an out and out solicitation for people to compliment me, and I'm so upset about it. Just kidding. I love it. I fucking love it. All right. Let's go ahead and get into the mailbag. Right? Let's go ahead and read. Brian C. writes, hello, long-time listener, first-time caller. You just remind listeners 6 months back, or just to remind listeners, 6 months back, I think you had a segment about Venmoing an ex $1. So it brings me to this. Myself and my wife have been together for 10 years and married for the last 5. I don't know a lot about my wife's past before we met. It's just not something that we really talked about. So a month ago, we were doing paperwork for a mortgage, and we were looking through her PayPal for extra income. As we are both independent contractors, and there was a random dollar transaction received from an ex of my wife's. She's like, oh, that's strange. And my mind immediately goes to, my wife was a slutty potty girl. Now, should I bring this up with my wife? Should I tell her about the dollar? Should I ask her why she isn't into more wild stuff in the bedroom? Also, if it helps, I'm white. Brian, what is more exciting to me is the fact that your wife might only exclusively date listeners to my programs. So that's really awesome. Your wife has tremendous taste. I don't know whether or not you should bring it up. If you have a relationship with your wife, and look, all relationships are different. I have an inability to not get all up in everybody's shit. So with Ashley, I need to know everything. Everything. Mostly because I'm just my nickname's Whiskers, baby. Curious like a cat. But if you have a relationship with your wife in which you have both agreed to just kind of let the past be the past, then I would say let sleeping dogs lie. Specifically in the idea that you sent a dollar to your ex. That's really the big one. That's the big one. If you feel that you can credibly explain that to your wife, then I would say go for it. But otherwise, I don't think so. Glenn writes, hey, Jerbs. Glenn from Canada here. Quick opinion on your opinion about the song and the conversation that we should be having. This is about Baby, It's Cold Outside. I agree, but I also think that by and large, that type of message is extremely controversial. The idea that we've made tons of progress over the last 50 to 100 years or so, and we should be happy about that, is often seen as a defense of the status quo, which it doesn't have to be. You can see the controversy over somebody like Steven Pinker, for example, in this action. Truth is, I don't think the argument that we've already made many of the changes we need in society and the momentum time will take us over the finish line is entirely wrong. I don't think it's entirely right either. It's a case-by-case thing. By the way, the misogynists people should be worried about aren't MRAs or incels. It's meatheads trying to pick up drunk girls at a bar or party. Thanks for the show. Have a great day. Glenn, I mean, again, let me not be misinterpreted. I think that a song like Baby, It's Cold Outside is kind of rad because it does portray a very playful situation in societal norms that we do not necessarily share today. I'm sure some people do. I'm sure it's, I don't really get out all that much. I live in a general debauchery zone of Zionist cuckitude out here in the Bay Area, but I'm sure some people still would be very, very chiding if a woman were out, past when she should be, despite the fact that she is, a person with agency. Women are that, by the way, just in case anybody was unclear about the progress that we've made, that women have more agency now, by and large, than they have in the past. But that's the subject of the sentence. The predicate is, we can also use it as a starting point to understand, well, we're not all the way there. Where else do we need to go? I am not a believer in time plus momentum. I am a believer in active change. I think that if something is wrong, we should make it right. So that was my thought there. As for misogynists, the people should be worried about aren't MRAs or incels. It's meatheads trying to pick up drunk girls at a bar or party. Why not both? Yeah. Crunchy writes, say what you want about the 1940s being a different time. The truth is that societal norms are normally so deeply ingrained in people's brains that people don't realize that it's not their own true beliefs. Sexually speaking, examples of this era are the French tend to feel that older women are more beautiful and their age or wrinkles or whatever portray wisdom, or that guys aren't so obsessed with anal in other countries. Sure, it's a different time and hypothetically we're more sex positive, but that viewpoint is more commonly seen on the internet than in real life. Add in that a huge reason women are hurting so much after sexual assault are the feelings of shame that they feel from it. On top of that, the Me Too is factoring in that women often feel too much pressure to say no. I imagine it's worse after the third or fifth or 10th time in the song. Sure, lots of women like to fuck, but there's still a reason that they tend to wait further into their relationships. While most of this doesn't really adhere to me, the song still sucks, and the reversal you're trying to push is pretty uninfluential as well. Also, pretty sure Tumblr still allows pre-anorexia blogs, which IMO is a lot worse than a couple boobs, but what do I know? Well, I mean, a fair point. Fair point. My issue is certainly not to say that that is the only way to go about it. It is just one man's opinion, after all. As for, that women do feel pressure, that that oftentimes, and this is another societal norm, that men are like, hey, do you want to go out? Hey, do you want to go out? Hey, do you want to go out? And then eventually, like, women have to be delicate in letting somebody down gently, societally, right? And then they have to do it repeatedly is bad, and oftentimes can cause for hurt feelings. So I dig it. I guess I feel the spirit of the song kind of sets a different tone, but you want to know what? That's the beauty of art. Everybody has different interpretations. Glenn writes, hey, JuRY, I loved your defense of Baby It's Cold Outside. I grew up listening to my grandparents singing it to each other lovingly at family Christmas parties. If it helps, they're in their 90s and white. To make it more modern, my wife loves it as well because of the word she loves to behave the way the woman in the song does. We are conservative Christians. And there is a value in being good. Please, you and your listeners, don't jump to pre-conclusions on Christian conservative stereotypes. Resisting your urges creates buildup and anticipation. Believe it or not, we enjoy and what to fuck just as much of the others. This now becomes a game, which in my opinion makes it better than just a quick fuck, or my wife compares it to rubbing her pussy and then stopping before she orgasms, then starting back up 30 seconds later to build to a bigger climax. So, well, this fucking email certainly took a turn. Jesus. We went from the fucking Waltons to like, hey now, let's not get too crazy about these Christian preconceptions that you might have. Anyway, so my wife's rubbing her pussy. We continue with the email. Christian edging. They were my favorite tag team in the 90s. So my wife has it in her head that she has been seeing the man in the song for weeks now. She wanted to fuck him on the second date, but hasn't decided if he's worthy of her pussy yet. This is the best email, Glenn. I just want to remind everybody that this started off as we are conservative Christians, and there's a value in being good. And then it goes into, like, for real role play. She wanted to fuck him on the second date, but hasn't decided if he's worthy of her pussy yet. Now she's resisting, as she always does, not because of some societal norm forced on her, because she is building anticipation and making sure he works for the gift of pleasuring her. Her resistance changes to harmony as she is dripping wet and ready to fuck all night. If it helps, my wife is female in her late 30s and Paige/Seamus level white. I just want to point out that this email included the phrase, we are conservative Christians and there is a value in being quote unquote good. And her resistance changes to harmony as she is dripping wet and ready to fuck all night. Oh my God, this is the best audience. You guys are the fucking best in the world. I swear to God, you're so fucking good. All right. Also, we asked for you guys to vote on whether or not our emailer yesterday indeed was seeing a high-end dating service, or if he had gotten pitched by a pimp. The verdict that you guys have to say is pimp. But of course, that brings us to our favorite thing to do on Thursdays, the way that we go ahead and cap off a week of JuRY Daily. It is exploring the fleeting thoughts that may or may not fly away as quick as they enter your head. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you high thoughts.
If corn chips came in a box, would they be called corn crackers? Is damn a swear word? If Tom Cruise and Penelope Cruz were to tour Santa Cruz in a Chevy Cruise, the headline would read, Cruise and Cruise, Cruise, Cruise in a Cruise. More like bye thoughts. Are we all gang members? Are we made from a combination of cell gangs and their turf is you? What if there's a man named James and he wants to make a tribute band called James Addiction? Does Green Lantern have a green thumb? If it turned out that when humans explored space, every alien we encountered were aliens, and that appear in popular fiction today, which alien race do you think would seize control of the galaxy? Which would seize control of the universe?
Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to go ahead and thank all of our grand jury members. The Jen, PD Rave, Non-Specific, Rock and Roll, Martian, Joe Acosta, Will, Redneck Tech, James, Bill, Dustin, Middle Age, Mike, BioCal, Robert H, Brian C, and Trey the Melodica Man. You can always go ahead and email us, jurydaily@gmail.com, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, @JustinRYoung, and you can join our Discord at bit.ly/Jury Discord. Folks, that about wraps it up for this week. Give a round of applause to Mr. Wacky. And of course, until the next time we speak, friends, please don't.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.